Hey everyone. So I figured I'd do a little get ready with me and a little catch up chit chat sesh because it's been a minute. First things first, I guess. Today is April 10th, 2026. Almost 4 whole months since I quit my corporate sales job. And a lot has changed since that happened. Some of you might have known that. For some of you, this may be a shock or a surprise. But for those of you who don't know, I have been working, I was working as the brewery representative, the CEO, alcohol sales for my territory for the Boston Beer Company for over 2 years. I got that job months after graduating, manifested it for over 2 years, went through 8 rounds of interviews before actually getting it, and finally landed it. Was in the role for 2 years, got some recognition. I was a top performer during Dry January and won a sales incentive that we had, which was pretty cool because one of 6 people in the company who won that incentive and got to represent the New England division and bring my longtime best friend from home on an all expenses paid trip to Hawaii, which we never would have been able to do had that not happened. So I'm very thankful and grateful for those opportunities. Met a lot of wonderful people, had a lot of life-changing experiences and trips that, again, I never would have been able to go on had it not been for the opportunities I was given by working there. But I quit back in December. December 31st was my very last day. Stroke of midnight, I left it all behind. And I'm going to tell you why. May 13th, 2025, I was 2 days away from a potential promotion at work. You know, nothing's ever a guarantee, but I was scheduled to work with the regional manager. We were going to spend the day together. We were going to go to a promotion afterwards that I would be running, and I had prepared a 25-minute presentation about how I was the CEO of my market for the last 2 years. And before that happened, I totaled my leg. Maybe more specific, my dog, Copper, ran through my leg like a freight train. I'm not being dramatic. I'm going to preface this now by saying that you can laugh. It was like a real life cartoon. He was outside in the front yard. I had just gotten off the phone with my boss on my drive home, and he had said, "Oh, make sure you CC me on the plan for the day." And I said, "Yeah, no problem. As soon as I get home to my desk, I'm going to sit down and send it over." And when I got home, my dad was outside in the front yard mowing our lawn, and my dog was with him. And normally we just keep him in the back because that's where we have a fence. Hindsight looking back, this was incredibly irresponsible. My dog had just turned 1 the month before, so very, very much a puppy. Still very, very much a puppy. And we were like, oh, let's just see how he does out front. And so now, before I went inside to sit at my desk for the remainder of the night preparing for this day that I was going to have, I decided, no, you know what, I'm going to be intentional and spend 10 minutes with my dad and my dog outside. It was a nice day. I was like, I'm going to be present with them before I go and sit down at my desk and blow them off basically for the next 48 hours to prepare for this. I'm very hard on myself, and needless to say, my presentation was done. The day was planned. Accounts knew we were coming, but I just like to be very prepared and make sure that there's nothing left. I wanted it to go really well, and I was very nervous and very anxious about the day. In doing that, my dog had the zoomies. Copper was running outside. There was a tree in our walkway blocking his view and my view of him, and he ran through my legs hard, made contact with me hard. I went up literally like a cartoon and caught air. I felt like I spun around, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. I felt like I did. I wish that the camera picked it up, but was up parallel with the ground, came down hard. Before I even hit the ground, I knew I was like, I'm not getting my SBR. I don't know why that was the thought that was in my head in that split second, but it was. I was like, yeah, all right, well, I can kiss that dream goodbye. I won't be getting my promotion. I was devastated. I always joke that my serial killer trait is I don't yell on roller coasters. I'll just sit there. I've never screamed so loudly in my life. My neighbors were inside of their house from across the street and came outside to see what was going on and to help. And I couldn't straighten it. I couldn't bend it. I knew it wasn't my ACL because I had heard that it would be far more swollen than it was, but there was definitely something wrong. And I've been an athlete my entire life. I was a 3-sport athlete growing up. Before that, I was a competitive figure skater for over 10 years, and I had some injuries in the past, but never one like this. And I knew that something was wrong. Ended up happening was I tore my MCL, sprained my ACL, sprained my PCL, ruptured my meniscus, and I had 4 fractures, bilaterally on my tibial plateau and bilaterally on my femur. Now, if you don't know where the tibial plateau is, that is where your knee joint connects. So every single time I would straighten my leg or try to put pressure on it, it would break more and more. Radiologist joked, "Are you sure this was a dog and not a car?" I was like, "No, it's a dog." But they did tell me, they were like, "Don't worry, you're lucky." How am I lucky? And they were like, "Well, you don't need surgery." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Not that I'm a proponent for opening up my knee if it's unnecessary, but you literally just listed every single thing. I'm like, how do I not need some kind of surgery? You're gonna send me to PT? So I was on crutches, non-weight bearing, for 3 to 4 months. I did bear weight on it a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I probably shouldn't have, but getting around with crutches and being home to take care of my dog was really, really difficult. It was very difficult. Nobody should ever be on crutches for that long. Yeah, it was very unideal. But they also told me that I was centimeters away from a full dislocation, so I guess hindsight, I did get kind of lucky. I think perspective is everything, because I was also out of work for 5 months. I couldn't go to work because my whole job required me to drive, lift, walk around, work the room, work the bar. Can't exactly do that with one leg or on crutches. Yeah, so I was devastated. Obviously, wasn't gonna get that promotion. Would you promote someone that couldn't work for an indefinite amount of time? Because I wouldn't. So I understood, but I was out of work, I was on disability, and I basically just did everything that I could to influence the market while I was out of work. I wore something branded every single time I left my house, every time I went to physical therapy. I tried to post content for it over the summer for the brands, just to get them out there in front of more people, just do what I could to influence the market, reach out to my buyers, let them know what was going on. But it was different and it was hard. Anyways, fast forward to when I went back to work. I definitely went back before I was ready. I was feeling a lot of pressure to go back, not from the company. I should make that very clear. But from other people, I was just feeling a lot of pressure because it's like, you gotta work, you got loans to pay, what do you mean? Like, you can't just sit around all the time. I'm like, well, I can, and I probably should because I'm literally broken, but I didn't. I went back in October and, like, officially, and I do feel that that was a mistake. I feel like if I had given myself even a month more, it would have been a different story. Maybe not, who knows? But I didn't. I went back, and it was hard because something that you should know about me is that I am very hard on myself in the sense of I just want to do a good job, and I just want the people around me to feel important. You know, sales is a career that when a salesman walks in the door, your guard is already up because you're like, I don't want to buy whatever it is they're selling. The plus about working for a company like I did is that they have an incredible portfolio. So there's beer, there's cider, there's spirits, there's all sorts of things. And the idea is that there's something for everybody there. So if they say no to one thing, it's not like you're limited and you don't have anything else to offer them. And I loved the power of the portfolio. That was honestly one of the biggest things that drew me to the company when I was looking for sales jobs. You know, that was rare. There weren't a lot of companies out there, at least in my industry, that could offer that and at such a high scale. And I loved working for that company. But the flip side is being such a major brand and up and abandoning all of my buyers for 5 months, which was out of my control. It was a complete freak accident, and they all knew that. When I came back, they were all so excited. They were like, oh my gosh, you're back, yay, how are you, what can we do to help you? Which was great, and it was good to know that I was missed, but it was hard on me because I wasn't ready to go back, and I couldn't live up to my own expectations, but also the basic expectations of the role. And I know that I probably could have stayed for longer than I did, but I would have been half-assing it, and not because I wanted to, just out of pure ability. At that point, I was no longer fit for the role, and that was something that took me a little while to officially come to terms with and accept. I mean, I think I kind of knew that the whole time when I was coming back. This is a job where you need to be at 100% all the time, and I wasn't at 100%. So I decided that I would be leaving, which is hard because I still love the company. I love a lot of the people who work there. I love a lot of my accounts, a lot of my clients that I miss very dearly. So shout out to you if you're one and you're seeing this. I miss the guys I worked with, my distributor ups. I was very emotional leaving. Once I told everybody that I was leaving, I was sobbing in my car. I've got some videos, I'm sure I'll share them, and I was like, never did I ever think I would be sobbing over more than 12 middle-aged men at the same time and not be on a show like The Bachelorette or something. But there I was in a Cappy's parking lot losing my mind. And I had a lot of back and forth, like, am I making the right decision? Because it's not every day that you decide to quit your cushy corporate sales job and you don't have anything else lined up. I didn't want anything else lined up. To be honest, I knew that I rushed my recovery, and this is something that shouldn't and can't be rushed. And I wanted to take the time to recover and heal and focus on that and focus on the things that were important to me, realign my priorities a little bit. And this is a fantastic job. I loved this job. When I got this job, I was so excited. So excited. It lit me up. I documented the entire journey. I've been documenting my life every single day, just about for the last 6 years, so I've got a lot of footage. And I would watch it back and I would see all the ideas that I had for different accounts or products or different activations I could do, and you can see the light and you can see the fire in her, and then you see me when I came back and I'm just numb, trying to get through the day. And I knew how excited and how blessed I felt when I got this job. And I knew that there were a lot of other young people out there starting out their careers that would probably be able to do a much better job than I could at the time and thrive in the role and be very excited about it. So who am I to stay in a place where I could half-ass it and be unhappy? So I quit. I left. And yeah, there have been moments where I've had a little FOMO. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's baseball season. So opening day has passed. The marathon is quickly approaching. I did a huge marathon party every year. Part of me is still thinking I'm gonna go, just to show my love and support, because I miss them. They made me sob when I said goodbye. Last week, I got to see the division meeting with the Southeast Division, and everybody was in Tampa, and I was doing my workout. Literally, I was like in the middle of doing a plank, and I was like, I could be getting obliterated on the beach right now. But if I was in Tampa, then I wouldn't be getting all my lifts in. I wouldn't be sleeping, because we'd be staying out until God knows what time, 3 or 4 in the morning, and then need to be at the meeting at 8:30. And we would do it because that's the culture. That's what you do. I wouldn't be eating because I'm gluten and dairy free. And a lot of times when they cook for the masses or cater for these meetings, there's just not a lot of options for me. I would lose like 8 to 10 pounds every time we had like a weekly meeting, because I was literally surviving off of like granola bars and fruit snacks. A struggle, but I did it. And I was like, I just realized I can't romanticize all of the moments that I'm missing, because there were also a lot of things that showed me it was my time to go. And I don't blame anyone. Well, there were a few things that happened leading up to my injury that just showed me that maybe this wasn't the safest place for me to be anymore. And that's okay. Maybe that era of my life where you're the reliable one, in the sense of you're never gonna say no to a shot or a drink. You know that you can rely on them to move through the product and stay out and entertain. And, you know, maybe that era of my life is over. And maybe that's a hard thing to accept, and believe me, it's not easy. You know, the 1 month when I was getting the most praise for my performance, like my numbers were so great, the stats were great, I was on the board for all these different categories at the meeting. They were all like, wow, you're doing such a great job, Natalie, like you're killing it. It was also a month when my life was completely falling apart. I was so burnt out. I was very unwell, mentally, physically. This is before my injury. And I just kind of realized, as much as I love the founders, both of them, particularly Sam and I had quite a few conversations on multiple occasions that just made me feel very connected. I mean, he's good at what he does. They're amazing people. Even though I loved them and believed in the company, believed in the brand, at the end of the day, if my life is completely falling apart, as long as the numbers were good, they weren't gonna blink an eye. My numbers were great. What do you mean her life's falling apart? She's doing awesome. And that's not to say that they don't care, or that the people in the company don't care. They do. They do. Honestly, I wasn't very good at setting those boundaries. The lines get blurred very easily in this industry, and I learned a lot about myself, how to advocate for myself, how to stop apologizing for certain things or everything. So while it's hard, and sometimes I do miss the people and the experiences and the opportunities that were given to me, I get to wake up every day now and have a slower morning, make sure I'm eating enough food. I get to cook my meals for myself. I'm not skipping out on any meals anymore. I'm able to move my body, not just sit in the car all day, and lift properly, focus on my physical therapy, get stronger, spend more time with those that are important to me, like my dog. I spend a lot of time on the deck in the sun, like right now. Those things matter. Don't get me wrong. If you're thinking about applying for that job, you should. It's an incredible job, and it's an incredible company, and it's got some incredible people attached to it, and some killer brands, which are just expanding even more and doing more and more exciting things as time goes on. I'm proud of the work that I did while I was there. I wish that, maybe things had worked out a little bit differently, or I could have stayed at the company and perhaps done something else. But all in all, something else I'll add is that alcohol played a much larger role in my recovery than it should have. I mean, what would you do if you were broken and laying on the couch all day and you had a fridge full of alcohol for free? What would you do? I'll tell you what I did. I definitely overindulged more than I should have on numerous occasions. And it just really put in perspective for me that I need to set those boundaries and take ownership over my life and be an active participant in my health. Because I had to go on like a major health journey, transitions from starting that job. I was completely gluten and dairy free, which was also difficult being the beer girl, because I am a beer girl and I love Oktoberfest, is literally my favorite. And don't even get me started on the Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale. It's so good. Like right now, if I was gonna drink a beer, that's the one that I would go drink. It's so good. And there's another one, Citrus Daydream, that just came out. Definitely try it, especially if you're a deadhead. If you haven't tried it, I don't know what you're doing. But that was hard. And like I made all these changes, and I was like, the audacity of me to be like, I'm not gonna eat this, I'm gonna focus on this, but I'm also gonna make sure I'm drinking like 6 drinks when I come home every night. If you have the self-control and you're able to put the boundary up and not binge drink, then kudos to you. I'm jealous of you. I honestly wish more than anything else that I could be the cool, chill girl that can do that. And I'm not. I mean, it was literally my job. And they don't pressure you to drink. Like, if you don't want to, you don't have to, obviously. But like, it is in the culture. It is just a big part of the job and the company. How are you going to sell something that you don't drink? And I'm not, like I said, if you can be the cool, chill person, then more props to you. I wish we could trade places, because I can't be. So yeah, I made those changes. I made the jump, I made the leap, and now here I am. This was very long, so if you stuck around and listened, I appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer about the job, the role, a little bit more in depth, I guess, about my injury or my journey through that. We're coming up on almost a year of my leg, so lots of emotions to follow with that whole process. That's that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I'm excited about what's to come. So stay tuned. And also have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the sun. Feel it. Breathe it in. And take this in, guys. It is the second no cloud blue sky day in a row, at least near me. So I'm taking full advantage of that, and I hope that you do too. All right, talk soon.